Acid rain is one of the most powerful forces of destruction in the world. It's slow, silent, invisible, yet extremely harmful to all life. But what if this natural phenomenon went into overdrive and covered our entire planet? Would life continue, or would the Earth be devastated forever? Let's find out in today's episode. So what exactly is acid rain? To understand what happens when acid rain covers the entire Earth, we must first understand what acid rain is and how it forms. Acid rain occurs when sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxides are released into the atmosphere and then react with water, oxygen, and other substances to form sulfuric and nitric acids. These acids then fall to the ground in the form of rain, snow, fog, or even gas. This process typically occurs when fossil fuels are burned, or when there are heavy amounts of biomass burning or volcanic activity. Human activities like fossil fuel combustion and industrial processes are responsible for around 80% of sulfur dioxide emissions and about half of nitrogen oxide emissions. Natural sources such as volcanoes, decaying vegetation, forest fires, and ocean waves account for the rest. Once acid rain hits the ground, it can have devastating effects on the environment. Acid rain causes soil erosion, kills plants and wildlife, depletes beneficial soil microbes, acidifies lakes and streams, and contaminates groundwater supplies. It also damages forests, crops, and buildings, and can even harm people's skin. When it rains, the water flows over the land surface into rivers and eventually back into the ocean. In this process, it can pick up pollutants from the air and the ground and carry them along with it. The pollutants that accumulate in waterways can negatively impact aquatic life. Studies have found that acid rain lowers the amount of calcium and other minerals available to shell-building organisms like corals, making it difficult for them to build their shells and skeletons. Acid rain also makes it more difficult for fish to reproduce, because it interferes with their ability to regulate the acidity levels of their eggs. Additionally, the toxic aluminum ions that are released into the soil during acid rain can poison fish directly when they are taken up by plants growing in the water. These impacts are significant and far-reaching, affecting not just the immediate environment, but also the people who depend on the ecosystem for food and other resources. Now let's imagine that this phenomenon happened worldwide at once. What would happen if acid rain covered the entire Earth? The consequences would be catastrophic. Our cities, infrastructure, and ecosystems would be decimated. But what would happen to the planet after that? Could it survive the onslaught of acid rain? Or would it be destroyed beyond repair? Forests would be devastated. Trees play an important role in maintaining healthy soil, preventing soil erosion, providing habitat for wildlife, and storing carbon. However, they are particularly vulnerable to acid rain. Acid rain can damage the leaves of trees, making them more susceptible to pests and diseases. It can also damage their roots, which can lead to stunted growth and death. This can have cascading effects on the ecosystem as a whole. For example, the loss of trees can lead to soil erosion, which can then lead to the loss of habitat for wildlife. Lakes, rivers, and oceans would be polluted. Aquatic life would be at risk. As previously mentioned, acid rain can have a devastating impact on aquatic life. When acid rain falls into a lake or river, it can lower the pH of the water, making it more acidic. This can make it difficult for fish and other aquatic life to survive. Additionally, acid rain can also carry pollutants into waterways, which can further harm aquatic life. Acid rain would destroy buildings and infrastructure. Acid rain can corrode buildings and infrastructure, leading to costly repairs. This can be particularly problematic for buildings and infrastructure made of limestone or other acid-sensitive materials. The economic cost of repairing damaged buildings and infrastructure can be significant. Humans, animals, and agriculture would suffer. Humans and animals can be affected by acid rain in a number of ways. When acid rain falls on skin, it can cause irritation, redness, and even blisters. Additionally, acid rain can also carry pollutants that can be harmful to human health. For example, acid rain can carry heavy metals such as mercury and lead, which can cause a variety of health problems. Furthermore, Acid rain can also damage crops, leading to food shortages and economic losses. This can occur directly through the acid rain's impact on plants or indirectly through the contamination of water and soil. The planet would change forever. Even if the planet were to somehow survive the initial impact of global acid rain, the long-term effects would be catastrophic. Soil acidification is one of the most significant impacts of acid rain on the environment. When acid rain falls on the soil, it can lower the pH of the soil, making it more acidic. This can have a number of negative consequences for plants and wildlife. For example, acid rain can make it difficult for plants to absorb nutrients, leading to stunted growth and death. Additionally, acid rain can also leach essential nutrients from the soil, making it less hospitable for plant life. Furthermore, acid rain can also damage soil microbes, which are essential for nutrient cycling and plant growth. The long-term effects of soil acidification can be devastating for ecosystems. For example, the loss of plant life can lead to soil erosion, which can then lead to the loss of habitat for wildlife. Additionally, the degradation of soil quality can make it difficult for ecosystems to recover from disturbances such as fires or floods. Mass extinction is another possible consequence of widespread acid rain. If acid rain were to persist for a long enough period of time, it could lead to a mass extinction event. This could occur through a variety of mechanisms. For example, the loss of habitat due to soil acidification could lead to the extinction of many species. Additionally, the direct toxicity of acid rain could also contribute to a mass extinction event. A mass extinction would have profound implications for the planet. It would result in the loss of countless species, including many that humans depend on for food and other resources. Additionally, a mass extinction could also disrupt ecosystem services such as pollination and nutrient cycling, leading to further environmental degradation. The planet could take hundreds of thousands or even millions of years to recover from such a cataclysmic event. So what would it take for acid rain to cover the entire Earth? One potential cause of a global increase in acid rain is supervolcano eruptions. These eruptions can release massive amounts of sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, which can then form sulfuric acid and lead to widespread acid rain. The 1815 eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia, for example, led to widespread crop failures and famine. Another cause of increased acid rain could be nuclear fallout. The Chernobyl and Fukushima nuclear disasters, for example, released significant amounts of radioactive material into the atmosphere, which contributed to acid rain in the surrounding areas. Additionally, industrial disasters such as the Bhopal gas tragedy in India have also released large amounts of sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere, leading to acid rain. Human activities such as fossil fuel combustion and industrial processes are responsible for the majority of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide emissions, which are the primary contributors to acid rain. Reducing these emissions through the use of clean energy sources and the implementation of emission control measures is critical to mitigating the risk of acid rain. International cooperation and regulation are also essential to ensure that countries take steps to reduce their emissions and prevent acid rain. In conclusion, while acid rain is a serious environmental problem, it is not likely to cover the entire Earth anytime soon. The planet has a remarkable capacity to recover from environmental disturbances, and there are already measures in place to mitigate the risks of acid rain. However, it is important to remember that even small changes in the frequency or intensity of acid rain events can have significant impacts on local ecosystems. Therefore, it is essential to continue monitoring and studying acid rain in order to better understand its impacts and develop effective mitigation strategies. Additionally, reducing greenhouse gas emissions and mitigating climate change is crucial to preventing extreme weather events that can exacerbate acid rain. By taking action to address these issues, we can help protect our planet and ensure a healthy future for generations to come.